Hi there, this is Edmund Lascaris, the Mill Park Library Makers Club, and in this lesson I'm going to explain to you how to improve the security of your Raspberry Pi now that it's plugged into your home router and available potentially to people on the internet. So there's some very basic things that we need to do, and we can automate some of the activities on the Raspberry Pi, so you don't need to worry about it. But this is a good way to overall improve the security of your Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to take you through, there's quite a few activities. We're going to need the terminal for most of these activities. So I'll open the terminal. And you remember from when we did an early introduction to the Raspberry Pi, or at least installing software, one of the first things we need to do is keep the software library on the Raspberry Pi updated. So before we install any software, we always have to type in sudo apt get update, and that always updates the software library which is stored on the Raspberry Pi. And because we did an installation or a major upgrade just recently, there's nothing really to update. But if it was several days and we hadn't done an update, we would have seen a bit more activity. Now, an update updates the software libraries, but we can also update the entire operating system, and for that we type in the instruction sudo apt-get apt-get and then upgrade. And if we type that in and enter, at the moment it's telling us that zero software was upgraded and they didn't have to remove anything. So that means that our system is 100% up to date. But obviously we don't want to do this every day, so we're looking for a way in which we can upgrade and update the system automatically every day. The way we're going to do that is we're going to install a special piece of software called unattended upgrades. And this is normally what you do for any server on critical infrastructure, for example, in a school or hospital. You'd always want to make sure that server was updated. That protects the server from intrusions, potentially, and also from viruses. So this is what we'd enter: sudo apt get install unattended -upgrades. So the name of the software is unattended upgrades, and we're using superuser. We're using the application called apt or apt-get to install this. So let's just press enter, and you can see, I'll just scroll down so you can see, oops, actually I'll move the terminal up so it's always in view, and we're just going to answer yes. So it doesn't have to be in capitals, it can be lowercase y. I'm just going to say yes, we want to install this software onto our disk, onto the Raspberry Pi. It's going through the installation. It shouldn't take too long. If it does take a very long period, I'll stop the video. Let's see how long it goes. Oh, there we are. It's finished. So it probably took about 15 seconds. Now, to get unattended upgrades package working, we need to edit a configuration file. Now, I'll show you how we can enter an instruction which gets us directly there, which is sudo nano. Nano is like an editor program, and the location where the configuration is /etc/apt/apt/apt dot config, conf dot d, and then / and what do I have here? 02 periodic. Now if I press enter, okay, we end up with a blank screen. That means that there is a file here, or it's a new file, and there's nothing in it. So we just need to populate it with a few details. So to use Nano, it's quite simple. You just type in what we need. So apt all in capitals, periodic, enable, and we have inverted commas 1, inverted commas, semicolon. That's the first line. Then apt, oops, colon, colon. I should have to just adjust this. 2 colons here. Periodic, colon, colon. Update, package. Now we have to be very specific. Lists, and we'll do 1 there, semicolon. Then apt, colon, colon, periodic, colon, colon, downloads, download, upgradable, packages, 1, semicolon, and then apt, colon, colon, periodic, colon, colon, unattended, upgrade, 1, 2 more lines, apt, colon, colon, periodic, colon, colon, auto clean, auto clean, interval, oops, semicolon, okay, then apt, colon, colon, periodic, verbose, 2, and semicolon. Now that looks okay to me. Okay, whoops, we don't have 2 semicolons, just 1. There we are. Now this particular code will help install any new packages which arrive. We just need to save it. To save it, we're going to click on Control O, which means to write it. It's asking us to confirm the file name to write to. It's given us the location and also the name of the file name. I'm going to click on Enter, and I'll get out of here with Control X to exit. Okay, so it seems that it saved it correctly. What we might do is we'll just quickly test it to make sure that the new changes to the configuration file have taken effect. What we need to do in type is sudo unattended and yep, upgrades -d, and I'll press enter, and it's checking, it's running a few checks. Hopefully it will give us a yep, and it's telling us that everything is okay at this stage. It hasn't shown any errors. You can check some log files to see if there are any if the installation has gone correctly. We can do that with instruction cat /var/log/unattended upgrades, and that should print out the log information. Whoops. The directory. Okay, so we'll go cd /var log unattended upgrades. Now we can list what's in that particular directory with ls. Okay, and here we are. We've got a log file there. Then we just type in cat, which is really just short for concatenate or display, unattended upgrades .log, and they'll print out the current log. Okay. There's not really much that we need to worry about here, but this upgrade package will now work every single day. It means we never have to do any upgrades for this particular computer. Now the next security detail which we need to always monitor, or you can change if you need to, is the default password for the user Pi. So in the past we've used sudo raspi config. Oops. And this brings up a configuration tool, so we can easily change the user password for Pi. We did that in the initial installation. Once you've changed the password once, at this stage you don't need to change anymore. I'm just pressing the tab key, which allows us to get out of this configuration tool screen. Press finish. There is also another way you can um, change the password if you need to. It's just typing because we've logged into user Pi, we can just type in PASSWD, and we press enter. It'll prompt us to type in our original username password for Pi, and also it will give us two opportunities to type in or verify the new password. We're not going to use that instruction. It's easy to use sudo raspi config, because even if we forget our password, we can still reset our password. Now we're going to use sudo raspi config again. An easy way to sort of bring instructions back is just to press the up arrow key on your keyboard. Oops. So we can go, jump too far, didn't I? No. What I'll do is I'll just quickly type it in again, raspi config. Now, another area, if we go to interfacing options in the configuration tool, press enter. There's an option here called SSH, which is short for secure shell. Sometimes it's probably best to, if I press enter, it's asking us now, would we like to enable secure shell or not? I'm just going to click keep it at no. We will have to open this when we do backups, but that's another lesson. So at the moment, just keep it as no. That's okay. We'll press enter again. And to get out of this configuration tool, we just click on finish. So just make sure your secure shell is not available. Now, another uh, piece of software that we can install is called fail to ban. And what this does, it prevents brute force attacks where parties on the internet can try to hack computers by just guessing the passwords, and we said it's a brute force attack. What fail to ban does is it slows them down. So to install this software, I'll just go back to the home directory. So change directory, the squiggly line, if you can see that, that's our home directory. That'll take us back to here. And if we want to just verify that we're in the home directory, pwd, which is short for present working directory, press enter. There we are. So that's our home Pi. Pi is our user, and home is the directory within which the users are. So we can install another piece of software called fail to ban. So we type in sudo apt get install fail, F-A-I-L, to ban. Press enter. It may ask us yes. We'll press lowercase y or capital Y for yes. We want to install the software package. We're waiting for the installation. I don't think it takes too long. Hopefully just a few seconds. Now, normally what will happen is you'll ban an attacker for 10 minutes if there are 5 failed attempts to log into our system. Now, we can just accept the defaults for that, but if we need to reconfigure that, I'll show you where the configuration file is. Change directory, /, that's the root directory, etc. etc is often short for a directory which contains configuration files. Fail to ban. Let's press enter. Okay, we've entered a directory within the configuration directory. Let's list what's in fail to ban. And we've got several files here, but I think the file that we're interested is this one. Jail, let me just config, yep, jail config. So that one we can see what's inside it really quickly with cat jail conf. So cat to display or concatenate whatever text is inside that file. Let's have a quick look inside. I can just scroll back up so we can just see quite a few details. But anyway, we can reconfigure this if we need to. Otherwise, we just leave it alone. Okay. Now there's one other piece of software which we may need to install. It's a firewall. So the router performs some firewall functions, but we can also have this similar firewall functions installed and executed on our Raspberry Pi. Now we're going to use a very simple firewall called the uncomplicated firewall, and we have to install that first. So I'll just get back to our home directory. So I can type in home and squiggly, or I can do home pi. If I type in that directly, it should get us back to our home directory for the user pi. Okay, we don't have to be in this location, but it just makes it easier to present the information on the screen. So we're going to install another piece of software, sudo apt get install, and it's uncomplicated firewall, UFW. We press enter, and again it might ask us whether or not we want to install it. Otherwise, you'll just go ahead and install it. And hopefully it doesn't take too long. Let's see, there we are, it's all done. Now, with uncomplicated firewall, or just firewall for short, it'll block everything going to the Raspberry Pi. But in our previous example, and we can test for that actually, if I go to, actually I can't test on this computer, but if we had a different computer, even on the same network, the home network, and we tried to access our Apache web server, it would be blocked through the router. But through the Raspberry Pi now that we've got this uncomplicated firewall set up. But we can allow for port 80, which is normally manages web requests or HTTP requests. So the instruction which we'll enter is just sudo uncomplicated firewall allow port 80, and that's our instruction. So if we type that in, there we are. So it says the rules of the firewall have been updated. And now if there are any requests on port 80, which is normally a web request to our Apache web server, it should be allowed. At this stage, one other detail which I need to allow as well is to allow for VNC, so sudo uncomplicated firewall allow, and the port is 5900, which is the port normally used for a VNC viewer, which is what I'm using at the moment to bring you this lesson. So if we want to if we want to enable the firewall, we have to enable it. So we have to do sudo uncomplicated firewall enable, and that should enable those particular rules on the firewall. There we are, it's active and enabled on the file system. We can see what rules are in place with sudo uncomplicated firewall status verbose, and that'll give us an idea of, yep, so we're allowing access via port 80. We're also allowing access to port 5900. Now that's all we really need to do. If we wanted to remove a service, I won't go into that just yet. But I think that is a good basic setup, which dramatically improves the security of your Raspberry Pi, both on the home network and also to the internet. So I'll stop this lesson now, and I'll join you next time for lessons in relation to developing our first web page on our Raspberry Pi. Thank you.